I would say good sex for me is enthusiastic. I feel like it calls for my presence. I think good sex is about being able to communicate with someone that you're experiencing your sexuality with, or being able to like communicate with yourself if you're solo pleasuring. Personally, I like to have multiple orgasms, so good sex for me includes that. And yeah, just having the opportunity to explore my body, explore another person's body in a way that feels comfortable and safe.
I would say good sex for me would be a vibe. It all starts with the vibe. If we're not connected on that level, if I can't look at you and be like, it don't have to be the attraction so much. It has to be that vibe of, damn, I'll rip your clothes off, or, we're just a vibe together. It has to be that connection, the flow of energy. I have to be able to picture myself with you. And to be able to do that is something really hot and amazing. It could be by yourself. Like, in order for me to be pleasured by myself, sometimes I need a visual. A visual is always good. And after the visuals continue, then it's like my body's a wonderland for myself as well as the individual I'm with. Like, we have to be able to exchange that good, rich, just sexual vibe. It has to be energetic. It can't be boring. It has to be exciting, spontaneous. It has to be a pull-in for me. What about you?
Absolutely. Good sex to me, definitely the vibe is important. I would definitely lead with the word trust. I mean, trusting that your environment is safe, trusting that that person is safe or those people. And again, setting that vibe, I think the trust is the foundation of it. And so from there, anything is really possible. I would say the definition of good sex could really just depend on, the kind of sex you're having, whoever you're having sex with. So definitely a fluid definition, but trust is always the pillar in that.
That sounds good.
I'm thinking about this a lot, and I think for me, one of the things that I've been realizing as of late is that because of patriarchy and the way that we view like sexual encounters and exchanges, a lot of times I wasn't ever really asked to define my own pleasure. I wasn't really asked to explore it, and I think that has led to not being able to be as present in some moments and maybe overthinking things or worrying about how I look or this or that, and really like letting go of some of that has been a huge practice, being able to really think about like, what am I desiring from this exchange? What am I hoping to get out of it? If we're exchanging energy, like, what feels good to me and how do I communicate that to another person? Or even ask for that too. And that has been a really interesting journey of exploration because it's not always the most comfortable thing to do, but I feel like when I'm with someone that I feel safe with, that I feel comfortable and have that like trust with them, I'm more empowered to like be able to share those things. I think, and also like my solo pleasure journey has empowered me to do that too. Like, playing by myself and like understanding what my body can do, where things feel good, has also been like a really empowering thing as well.
Absolutely. I would say self-pleasure is one of the biggest things. One way that I've been able to really own it and claim it is through like somatic healing. And so sensuality and sexuality has been really great, specifically through pole dancing. That has been something that, as Taylor has said, like, oh, that's fast, or something that's been stigmatized, but being able to really own my body and be able to dance and move and be free when, shame is quite the opposite of that, has really opened that up. And so that, when I'm healed, then I can, you know, put that sexual healing on whoever, you know, receives it. So
Put it on.
exactly. So it definitely starts with self, but somatic healing is honestly saved me in a lot of different ways. So
I would say for the shameful part, growing up, I was always voluptuous. I had a really small waist. I had these big breasts. I had a big butt. So I was always sexualized. And it was like the older kids was sexualized, but I was a tomboy at the time. So it was kind of like I would dress boyish so that I can kind of hide what the gifts that God gave me. But as I got older, I started to understand more about my body. I was a late bloomer to get into sexual pleasures and stuff like that. So I was a late bloomer, but as I got into it, I took heed to learning about it, and it became a place where I like to teach people about it. Like, learn about you sexually, learn about the power of your vagina, learn about the power of pleasure, learn about who you are, learn that sex is not, sometimes it's weaponized. So you have to learn that sex is not a weapon. Sex is something that should be pleasurable, but also something that should be done in a dynamic way. So you gotta kind of push yourself to understand like what pleasure is. It's not shame. Sex is not shame. Having a big breast is not shame. Not having big breasts is not shameful. Everybody comes in these different beautiful shapes and sizes. So for me, it's like the confidence in sex sets you aside. And if you could tell that from a person, it like oozes from you when you're sexually comfortable.
survive. I think confidence can also be honed through challenging yourself and trying new things, really kind of, you know, exceeding those expectations that one might have. You know, testing yourself, maybe, you know, as it relates to pleasure, maybe, you know, buying a toy that makes you feel good and you're like, I don't know if you know, that might not have been something I thought about before, but, you know, I think that, you know, I want to give it a try. And so kind of giving yourself little milestones and not putting yourself under too much pressure is really important too. So whether it's a self-pleasure journey or something that you want to share with your partner or partners, it's like telling them and sharing it with folks, you know, writing it down or, you know, writing it through music and things of the like. So making it kind of a community thing, if you feel so comfortable, can build that confidence so people can see you.
That's really dope.
So
My advice would be to make pleasure a daily ritual.
absolutely.
And I would say, like, I'm such a Virgo, but I would say, like, sit down with your calendar or with your, like, planner and literally think about, like, how do you want your morning to feel? How do you want your afternoon and your evening to feel, and how can you, like, what are the things you have to do, and how can you exude and accentuate the pleasure in each of those things? How can you build little rituals around the things that have to be done that make you feel really good and give you a moment to be present with yourself and feeling what feels right? I like to, like, wake up and have enough time to just sit and drink a cup of coffee with, like, nothing else to do, but just sit there and enjoy drinking my cup of coffee before I start my day. That is a pleasure. Some people like to take bubble baths or, like, you know, I build altars too, like whatever your thing is that just helps you to feel grounded and joyful and still and to enjoy life, like, really lean into doing those things that make you feel good. And, like, yeah, I'm thinking, like, that's even before you even start thinking about having sex. Because once you start manifesting that kind of energy in your daily life, it's like you begin to exude and accentuate pleasure in a way that makes room for so many other kinds of pleasure to come into your life as well.
You're so right. That's so true.
It's kind of like a snowball effect.
It is.
Once you start, it's infectious. Once you
like
start to feel good, they're gonna feel good too. And they're like, "What she got?"
Kind of pull you in.
It does.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it pulls you in. It's like, hey, how you doing? You know, versus, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It pulls you in and it makes you feel like part of it. It makes you feel good. It's just a vibe. I like that. to get up in the morning and just set that plan. And no matter how it goes, you just kind of wrap your mind around making sure that, you know, it may default or it may go left, but just knowing that I woke up this morning and I said this afternoon I want to feel humble, I want to feel sexy, I want to feel vibrant, and you have that in your mind. I'm gonna steal that. Okay, girl, I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna do it because that was really tight. I like that.
Thank you. And I think too, what you're saying is for someone who's new to it, like also keeping in mind that it's a journey. So like sometimes like you can be deep into that practice and life may happen and you fall out of it, but like don't be hard on yourself about it, you know, because you can always start over, start again, or do new things and try new things, but it's all a journey.
As long as you wake up in the morning, right, you get that chance to redo it. I call it a do-over button. So if you don't do something extremely right that day, what I do at the end of my day before I go to bed, I plan my day out. But I also think about those things before I plan my day out that I could have did better. And that's been I'd be like, okay, just show a do-over button for that. Even if it's how I talk to somebody at work, how I address one of my drivers, I make sure that I get that little slight do-over because I may have left a bad impression on them and I don't know where that will carry them. So that's like one thing that I love that gives me a pleasure is to be able to correct those little things that I have wrong because, hey, I woke up this morning, I had breath, you know, I was blessed to be here. So let's correct those little things, you know?
I love that. Cool.
And in the words of Glorilla, at the end of the day gotta end.
Period.
Oh. Okay, no.
That's hilarious.
It ended just now.